So, things at Rooster Teeth have really turned to shit the past year and a half. Some people will say before that, but that was mainly because their favorite person left. It was never the same for them again in this way, because I remember I started watching them around, 2011, 2012. It was like 8th grade into freshman year of high school when I started watching them, and they had only been around for about 3-4 years at this point, so I would always go back, watch their new content, watch their old content, and I remember when a person I liked from the company left. Ray was one of my favorite ones because yes, he may have been loud and obnoxious sometimes, but his comedic timing was just so perfect, and he seemed like a genuinely nice dude, and to this day we still see that on his Twitch streams, all this, that, and the other. And, it got to a point where people would continue to leave, as would happen in some companies. You're going to have people, be there and then leave after a certain amount of time because maybe they found that better option, or maybe they just don't feel as welcome as they were there anymore. But it's been a weird year and a half for them. I remember back when they laid people off, I think it was like last year, and they had to explain all that. And then you have people like Bernie leaving for some reason. One of the founders just up and left Rooster Teeth for some reason. They never really explain why. He's just up and gone at this point. And then you have people like, I think her name was Mika Burton, come out and say that not only was there racism in the comments section when she was there, because she is a person of color, the company kind of treated her like shit, and she felt disrespected, and there was all that drama that they had to go through. And then there's the whole Joel Heyman thing, where apparently he was making some tweets that they didn't necessarily agree with. They kicked him to the curb. I don't know what those tweets were, but that's what I heard from this. And then you had all these people in Funhouse just start leaving with really no other explanation, and it just got to a point where you're like, what's going on with this company? They used to be so enjoyable to watch, all these nice people in it, and now all of a sudden they've just turned to shit. Now, this situation I'm about to talk about isn't necessarily one that you have to blame the company on, but Jesus Christ, this could be the end of Rooster Teeth, Achievement Hunter, Let's Play, Funhouse, as we know it, because this involves a former Funhouse employee and former Rooster Teeth employee all together in one. As I remember seeing a couple of weeks ago, Funhouse's Adam Kovic had been fired. Sorry, my nose is stuffed. Hold on a second. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes, Adam Kovic had been fired from Funhouse due to him being a little too friendly with underage fans who had come out and said stuff about him. Well, they didn't come out and say stuff about him. There was this leaked video of him sexting with this underage girl, or multiple underage girls. So basically he was cheating on his wife. Now that's not illegal, it's scummy. But the other thing too is going to look really bad, because if these are underage girls, then that is illegal. But then it recently came out that, of all people, the guy we saw as a family man, loves his family, his wife, and is, funny, or at least keeps that same funny intensity throughout each video that he's in, Ryan Haywood, had been basically doing the same thing and was spotted in that video, that leaked video with Adam in it. There's been screenshots of him supposedly sexting these underage girls, and he had apparently photos of these girls, which is also child pornography, so there's that big thing he can get in trouble for. And this is a 39-year-old man with a wife and 3 kids, and one of his explanations for cheating on his wife was that she wasn't stimulating him the best, or something about their sexual relationship was down. But you have 3 kids, so how bad could it really be? I don't know. I can understand if you're like 39 and you have no kids and you're like, we're just not having sex enough. But you have 3 kids that, like, at some point you're not gonna want to. The older you get, the less kids you're gonna want. That's all I'm gonna say. There's some families out there that want 10 plus kids, and that's just a little ridiculous. But anyway, it breaks my heart hearing this, because Ryan released a half-assed apology, playing the victim here, and one thing I did agree with him on, though, was the last line in his Twitter thing about, stop sending threatening messages to his family and friends, because they don't really, not even really, they just don't deserve that. He's got to handle what happened himself. He deserves what he's getting, not what his family is getting, and the fact that people are going after his family. I think his family was even doxxed. It's like, leave them alone. They're not the culprits here. They're the victims in this situation. They're getting just as hurt as everybody else to find this out. And apparently Ryan ended up leaving Rooster Teeth. He wasn't fired, and this whole thing has just been a cluster most recently, and I haven't watched him in 2 years, if we're being honest. I'm still subscribed to him. Sometimes I don't know why, but it was just one of those things where watching their content before all this shit went down, it just got boring and repetitive, and I was like, at some point in time you got to adapt with your comedy, and just saying the same shit or doing the same shit or having the same inside joke for years isn't what's going to carry this company and whatnot, and it just kind of became very stale and boring, if I had to say so myself. And this has really solidified what's going to happen now, because it's not that I blame the company for what's happening, but so much shit has been going on for a company that really the only thing that was big in the news back in the day was when the one, I think it was Red or Ruby producer, whatever, Monte Ohm, passed away. He ended up taking his own life, and that was like the biggest news there, and nothing really was like this was coming out. It was like, they had that happen. It's something they can move on from, and they kept moving on from it and doing a pretty good job up until a little while ago, and then all this stuff just keeps happening, and you're like, alright, look, now the company's just too much drama, too much bullshit, and now they have criminals in their company, which, again, I don't think that Rooster Teeth, anybody else in Rooster Teeth really knew what was going on. Some may have, but, at some point in time, too, you gotta realize, too, that when you basically essentially see these people as your best friends for years, like people have in there had with Ryan and Adam, it really becomes hard to muster, and you just don't want to believe what you're hearing, and then once it all turns out to be true, you're just kind of, in that mode where you feel betrayed and you don't really know how to feel. That's where I think some of these people were at this point. But it seems like with Adam, it wasn't just the whole leaked nudes things to underage girls. There was this guy who tweeted basically saying, I would never go collab with them again, and that's because of Adam Kovic, and it ain't just because of the nudes, this, that, and the other. So apparently there might be more to the Adam Kovic situation. As for Ryan, we don't really know, and Adam really hasn't put out a statement. At least Ryan had the balls to come out and say something. Adam Kovic deleted his Twitter. I know Ryan did delete his Instagram, all this kind of other stuff, but still, at least Ryan kept a platform to where he could come out and say something, but that's basically been about it. Rooster Teeth put out a comment, but for the most part, it's a shit show right now in Rooster Teeth, and I just wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt, just to be like, it's their content's just shitty, and at least now, and just not enjoyable as it once was, and that's why I'm not enjoying them. Seeing all this stuff, I can't anymore. I can't. I'll let the whole Ryan and Adam thing figure itself out, but it's just turned into drama central, and once your comedy or company starts feeding off of drama and stuff like that, and I'm not saying they are, but that's basically what it's turned into, then it just becomes like you're done with it. You really are done with it. A YouTube channel that once had big promise, was one of the more popular gaming channels on YouTube, has just become this. And now we have this coming out, and it's just like, what the hell is going on? When did this happen? When did bad people start getting in this company? When did they start firing people over questionable Twitter? That really wasn't anything questionable. It was just differentiating opinion from one another. I don't know, it was just super weird. I had to go back and just listen, and like I said, some of the people I mentioned that left the company are just some of the many. I can't sit here and go, yeah, this person left, this person left, this person left, because within like a 4 or 5 year span, so many people have left, and it is really just ridiculous, because like I said, companies have people leave every so often, but once it starts becoming this rapid fire, you gotta think to yourself, are they leaving because they want to leave, or are they leaving because there's something that we just don't know and they don't want to be a part of that anymore? And with the Funhouse members that did leave beforehand, I think we figured out why, and ever since then this shit has come out and it has been just unescapable. But yeah, that's basically it. It'll be interesting to see where Rooster Teeth goes with this, if they decide to make a video statement, this, that, and the other. It's just, it really is getting out of control, and I don't know. I haven't watched them in years, so I can't say that I'm going to stop watching them, because I basically have. Whether I unsubscribe from them, that'll be up to me, but, I'm not going to sit here and bash the company because of what these two guys did. They did it to themselves, and they're the ones that need to, face the consequences, not the company. But at the same point in time, you gotta realize with the company, when is all this drama and bullshit gonna stop? Because at this point in time, that's what's carrying you, and if that's gonna be what's carrying you, then I'm done. I'm done with it, so, yeah. And really, I guess, all I have to say to finish off is, if you're dealing with a situation similar to this, and you haven't, told anybody yet, we're in 2020, and, more and more people are coming out and telling their story and, basically, helping us realize who the bad people are. And at this point in time, I really don't think people would lie about this anymore. I mean, why would you at this point? It's become so much more common to come out and say, what happened and whatnot, that, it should be one of those things where it's still innocent until proven guilty, but when the evidence leans on the side of the accused, then that becomes more and more of a problem. So, yeah, it's not that I don't believe that Ryan or Adam may have the things that they did may have been over-exaggerated, but there's evidence out there that would state that they did some of what was said from these girls out here, and that's why it's still it's still an ongoing thing, but at the same point in time, the evidence doesn't really point in your favor right now, and, it's a hard thing to talk about, and it's a hard thing to come out with and say, because, when you come out and say it, then people are going to be like, well, where's the proof? You might be lying, this, that, and the other, and then you show them these text messages and whatnot, they're like, well, those could be photoshopped, this, that, and the other. We want the real proof. And it's like, what other proof do you want? Do you think I made a sex tape with this person? Is that the proof you want? Because if that's the case, then that's just disgusting, because I was underage, this, that, and the other. And it's just like, we have to take it, not necessarily with a grain of salt, but we just have to hear both sides of the story, and we have to look at the evidence given to us, and so far, the evidence for Adam and Ryan is not good. And whether they'll serve jail time, I don't know, and what's going to happen between them and their families, frankly, I don't care. That's none of my business. So that's where I'll leave this off with, and yeah. Until then, stay safe out there, and I will catch you all in the next one.